All right, we're excited. And it's after lunch, so we're going to try to keep, oh, holy cow, okay. We got a thing with the chair here. Okay, we're going to try to keep it nice and upbeat, and I promise we won't make you do any dance moves or any like salsa or cha-cha or anything. So if you're looking for that, we can just wait till Chad comes back up. So I'm going to go ahead and let my panelists introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about who they are, and we're really excited to talk about Meraki and how it relates to the niche business and the specialized fields. So go ahead. I think, is there one of you have a mic too?
Sure
oh,
working
yep.
We'll start with you, Makayla. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Alrighty, hi, how are you guys doing? Awesome. I am so excited to be here. This is my first Social Media Week Lima. My name is Makayla Boyd, and I am a digital content specialist for the University of Cincinnati. That means I basically do all of their social media, their video production / commercials, and then also their photography. I also freelance on the side for different people who need my help with their social media strategy, branding, just different things like that.
Try the other one, we'll see. Hello, hello.
Oh, I seen it blink.
Hello. Did it blink? Okay.
There we go. Okay. My name is Jaiden Johnston. I am the Group and Event Coordinator at Westgate Entertainment Center. If any of you guys are coming to the VIP party tonight, you will see me there. This is my 5th year here at Social Media Week Lima. And a little bit about what I do. I am pretty much all group events at Westgate, so from birthday parties up to 500 people corporate events. That's what I do there. So.
And I'll just say real quick, my name is Jamie Samples. I work within the horse industry. I've been doing marketing in the horse industry for about 15 years. Do a ton of done for you, and then we're getting into courses, and I have a YouTube channel and some other fun things. So definitely my industry is also very niche, but it's also like a massive industry too. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump in with our first question, and this is for both of you ladies. And I have, like, I know usually people get up here and like use their phone and stuff, but I'm old school writing things on note cards because I feel like that's super fun. And whoever said it earlier about handwriting things down, you remember a lot more. So. Okay, so the first question is, can you ladies share a moment when you have felt deeply connected to your work, when marketing felt more like a calling than a task? So Makayla, we'll go ahead and start with you.
Sure. For me, I would say that I felt this moment when I did a year in review video for my job. So I was tasked with capturing the entire year, the highlights of what the University of Cincinnati does for its staff, its faculty, and its students. And that was a lot of filming. I had to, go sometimes after the regular 9 to 5 hour to capture photos, to capture videos, and I had to edit it all together. And if you don't edit videos, you don't know that it can take a long time to edit it together. We're talking hours on hours on hours. So finding all of these different events that I was going to, that I was recording, that I was, taking photos of and merging it all together so that we could have an end of the year campaign to broadcast it to. That was when I realized, I really like what I'm doing. I'm capturing these special moments, and I'm not even mad that I'm going in and it's 8 p.m. at night. This is just something that I'm really passionate about, something I want to do. I want to stay, after hours and edit the video together because I want it to look perfect. And for me, we ended up submitting that campaign and the video to Graphic Design USA, and we won. And that was just something where I was like, this is what I'm meant to do. This is why I was put here. Like, it just makes me so happy. So that's my story and kind of how Meraki has helped me with kind of just showing that every way when I show up to my job.
Yeah, and like a way that I felt deeply connected with my job is probably about 4 or 5 years back, we had a person come in and kind of help us out with sales and things, and one of the questions they asked us is, what is your why, right? Why are you here, and what are you doing? So we kind of reflected on the business itself, and Westgate's an entertainment center, so we do birthday parties, we do baby showers, we do corporate events, and looking at those events and watching these and hosting these, you get to see all the fun that they're having in our building. And when you kind of evaluate all those events, they're really coming to our business to create memories and to laugh and to have fun. And I always tell people the best part of my job is that I get to sell fun. So kind of having that realization that it's not just me working and filling bowling lanes and scheduling a party room, it's about providing an experience for people. So that really took out the task part of it and made it more of a calling for sure.
And I'll share a quick little story. And we're talking about niche industries and how we can take our passions. And in business, like everyone wants to make money, right? We're all here to make money. A few people speaking this morning referenced that, like, we're all here to make money. But like, how do we make a difference for our clients? And I was at a huge horse expo earlier in the year, and I met a client there, and I had never met him in person. But I knew enough about him, and he was like, I'm gonna be there, and I was like, well, let's meet in person. And we ended up, he's like, let's just talk for like 5 or 10 minutes, we'll grab like a quick coffee. Well, we ended up talking for almost 2 hours, and for me and my business, I was talking to someone earlier about how, you can repel people, or you can attract people with your business and your message and your passion. And I was able to sit down, and for me, faith is a big part of my business, and I was able to pray with him about some things that were happening, like right there at the event. And he messaged me like after he left, and he's like, Jamie, I actually got in my car and I just started crying, because he's like, I'm normally not that kind of a guy, but he's like, I was going through so many things, and he's like, you stepped out of like the business side of things and the strategy, and just like you were a person. And I think sometimes in business, just being a person and being there and listening over and above. I mean, there are some people that say like, you can't be friends with your clients, and I'm like, I beg to differ. You can, but that was something that, like, for me, there have been many situations over the last 20 years where I've been able to just simply help someone and just be human and be kind, spread kindness and love through my business, and that's been amazing. So it's really nice when you can be passionate about something but also still make money and create those relationships through business. So our next question is, let me get to the next card here. Okay, so Makayla, this one's for you. How does Meraki show up in your content creation process from brainstorming to publishing?
So a big part of what I do is social media, and the people that we are marketing towards are students of the University of Cincinnati. So it is very niche, as we've been talking. I'm looking at 18 to 21 as our first target audience, and then grad students for our second target audience. So I need to be able to find them and find content that resonates with them. Now, luckily for me, I am still part of their generation. I'm Gen Z. And so I am able to be like, hey, this is kind of what I like. This is, something that I can relate to, that I can put out to them, and I know that they'll relate to that too. But I realize that I'm not going to be in the same generation as these students forever. We're going to have Gen Alpha in here, and I'm going to need to adapt. So right now, I'm practicing that. I'm going in and I'm saying, hey, what other types of contents resonate with you? What would you like to see from us? I'm asking our audience, I'm asking our student workers, and for me, that's my passion. I want to make sure that all of our followers that we're getting in the next generation loves the stuff that we're putting out there. I want to make sure that we have satisfied customers / followers. So in the content creation process, I'm finding out what they like. I'm asking them for, what's your ideas? Why don't we try something like this? Or how about, you give me an idea and we'll make it come to life if it's one of my student workers. So being a listening ear. It's also when I'm editing, I love to edit. So when I'm editing those videos together, I'm trying new things. I'm trying fancy animations, new text. I'm looking on YouTube like, okay, what are other people kind of doing? Can I emulate that or try something different? But just really being passionate and intentional about making sure that I'm bringing something new with each video that's going to wow our audience or connect and relate to them.
Did you have anything you wanted to add on that? Nope. Okay. So the next question is for you, Jaiden, and this is a really, really great question. What advice do you have for someone trying to find their voice in a niche industry without losing their authenticity?
Okay, so I think the biggest advice I can give is to not try to sound like anybody else. Really just stick to who you are and what you know. I was kind of looking up some things last night, and there was a post I saw that said if you would say it in person, say it online. And if you're a person like me, I do a lot of like speak texting kind of things. So sometimes I'll be speak texting and making a post, and I'll go back through and edit it and be like, oh, that's not quite professional. Don't do that. let yourself be authentic. Come out nice and raw, really show your true colors and stay true to yourself. Like I mentioned earlier at Westgate, we had someone come in and we're discussing what our why was. I think that's a huge part in that, to know what it is that you're passionate about in your work. Once you know that, being authentic and things just comes so much easier. And honestly, just putting out that first piece of content too. If you haven't put out content and you're trying to figure out how to be authentic, just put it out there. Don't worry about being polished or perfect. Just get on camera and do it, and just let it come out. So, yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm just going to piggyback is really be yourself out here. If you think that you have a vision for something and you don't know if it's right, still put it out there. Still be like, this is what I would like to do. This is, authentically my type of content. And sometimes people might have edits, for it, and you can take that edit, or you can be like, no, this is what I want to do. So just always kind of put that out there, and remember to kind of filter the advice or the tips you might get.
Agreed.
And I think that you both hit on something as far as just authenticity. I know I've talked to people that are younger and getting into marketing, and they're like, well, I'm passionate about this because, and I don't know if I should share this. And it's those things that we share, generally, I don't know, I could probably take a poll in here. Those are the things where you're like, I don't know if I want to share this, but that's when you get those tons of comments, tons of messages, tons of DMs, whatever it is, and people are like, oh my gosh, I never knew you did that or this or that. And a lot of people too in business, again, it depends on what you're doing and what your business is, but I know for me, because I own my agency, I can basically do whatever I want. But for me, it's like when I started really sharing things that I'm passionate about, one example is foster care. That's something that I'm involved in. We adopted through foster care, so it's something I just am crazy passionate about. And it's like when I started sharing some things about that, people were like, oh my goodness, I didn't know. Or they'll ask questions and then they're like, how can I get involved? So it's like some people don't even know they're passionate about certain things until they're educated. And, again, when you're just having those conversations with people online, that's when it gets really amazing to see all the people rise up, kind of like the acts of kindness that they talked about before lunch. Like if we can all band together, that's something that's easy, right? Acts of kindness. Who doesn't want to do that? That's awesome, right? So, okay, so I had another question. It was mainly, I had it written down. If you ladies have thoughts on this, think about it for a minute here. In what ways has showing up with Meraki helped you attract the right audience or repel the wrong one? So we were talking about this earlier. And with what we do, again, we can put information out there, we can be who we are, we can be authentic, but what if it repels someone? And I think in business, that's not a negative thing. Sometimes people are like, oh, it's negative. It's really not. So I have a quick little story to share. Social media marketing world in San Diego, many of you have been there. I connected with someone, probably 8 or 10 years ago. And met her, liked her, real nice, whatever. Hadn't talked to her forever, didn't stay connected. About 3 years ago, she sends me an email and she says, Jamie, I have this potential client I just did an audit for. They are not my people, but they're your people. They have now been a client of mine for 3 years. They are my most favorite client. They actually are not in the horse industry, but I have pretty conservative values, and this friend of mine was like, I don't agree with their organization, but I know you do, and so they are literally the best client. And so, in the horse industry, there's multiple sides of the horse industry as well, and there are certain sides of the industry I don't want to work with. They're wonderful people, they're just not my people. There's other people for them. And so, but also, again, the right people you're going to draw in with who you are and how authentic you are. So, do you ladies have anything to share about that?
Yeah, I can speak on this one. As you can see by the amazing bobblehead they made of me, I did just graduate with my master's from UC in marketing. And while I was in there, I was taking a class, and the class was basically on kind of branding and social media. And I talked about how I did this in my everyday job and, on the side. And I started talking about the different ideas I had for the client that we were working with for the project. And one of my group members at the end of it came to me and she said, you know so much about this. You're so passionate, and I really have the drive for marketing, but not for social media like you do. I want to start a YouTube channel and I want it to be a travel vlog. Would you help me with this? And it's because of that passion that I think I had when I was like, oh, I have these ideas, or I would do this way, you know, for the client, that I think I attracted her to come to me to be like, hey, can you be like my social media manager for this new thing I'm trying? And we've been working together for the past 3 months now. So that's how that really attracted, I would say, the right client to me. People see what you're passionate about, and they see when you're not passionate about it.
So Jaiden, a quick question, because I know you do a side job also, and which is real estate, correct? Yep. So I would love it if you have something to share about this, because the other thing is sometimes as marketers, I know for me, I'm like, there's 1 billion marketers everywhere. Like if I'm a digital marketer, how do I stand out, right? Like whether I'm in the horse industry, it doesn't matter where you are, like how do I stand out? Real estate's the same thing. I have like 97 friends that are realtors, like in my city, and you're just like, okay, I'm not looking to buy or sell, but again, how do you find like the passion that you have for life and marketing, like how does that draw in the right people for you? Or do you have a story to tell about that?
So I think just me being who I am, and when I'm talking to people, whether it's on the phone or in person, I guess one experience does come out to me. It was a client that I got connected with through like a dry lead. We'd never met before, and then we get on the phone and we're talking, and we end up meeting in person, and it turns out she actually had a really bad experience with another realtor, and after we got talking for a little bit, we found out that we both had a passion for gardening. We both found out we had a passion for some good bourbon, so we actually ended up going out the other night and kind of hanging out, but I think just being able to have that authentic conversation with her and just take the time to connect about more than real estate as well. Like I said, we talked a little bit about gardening. She's got some kids. I've got some kids. We were able to connect. And I think that's what people really want, is to connect with who you are as a person, not just the service you're providing. You know, they want that real connection and have an ongoing relationship. And in real estate, it's always ongoing. I'm your realtor for life, you know? So having those relationships being nurtured and cared for is really important.
And I'll have to agree, we've bought 3 houses from the same guy, so.
Once you know him and trust him, you tend not to veer too far, right?
Yes,
but when they broke your heart, you don't go back.
Yeah, and the ones that put up with you too. Challenging ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so this question's for both of you as well. What does Meraki look like when your brand is tied to a physical place and a real community?
Well, I'll start since I got the mic.
Yep.
Those of you that are familiar with Westgate, it's been a pillar of this Lima community since 1958. We're a generational business. And with that, and being locked into this Lima community, we've really got to make some great relationships with the community. Like I said before, we do baby showers, we do graduation parties, so sometimes we have a customer comes in that has a baby shower, and the next thing you know, their first birthday comes up, they're back at Westgate. We have an after-school bowling program. They're put into the after-school bowling program. They turn 16, where do they come to work? With us, you know? So it's great to have that real sense of community, and, you know, people come in and they see the changes we've made as well. Over the last 5 years, we've kind of made some big remodel changes, and some people come in that haven't been in 25 years. They're like, where's the barber shop? You know, or where's the billiard room? So it's great to have those connections and make those relationships with people. And even our corporate parties, we've had some corporate parties that have been coming in for 8+ years. One specific experience with the company is they actually ended up retiring and letting someone else purchase their company and let us know that. They had been with us for 8 years for this Christmas party, so we went out our way and sent them a little gift saying, happy retirement, thank you so much for your 8+ years of business, you know, just kind of cultivating that relationship even more. And then we got the new owners to come have their party with us, so that was cool too. But yeah, so.
Yeah, I can go. For me, with my main job being at the University of Cincinnati, it is a physical place, but it's also a community of students. And it's about 50,000 students if you don't know about the University of Cincinnati. So my job is to basically bring them together and give them information not only about the different departments that we're over, but also about surviving college. It can be hard. It's not easy for everybody. And I'm passionate in the sense that I've been through all of that. I can connect to their experience. So I'm giving them advice that I wish I would have known when I was going through college both times. I'm giving them, information about housing, food hacks, just different things that, they may not get to know. I'm connecting with them when I'm going and I'm taking videos and photos and social media of them. Usually I'm not going to go up to strangers and just take their picture. I am usually, hey, I'm with the UC photographers, I'd love to take your pictures. You guys look like you're having a fun time on the lawn, playing pickleball or playing, soccer, and I just want to connect with them. I want to, talk to them about, hey, what major are you? Oh, I know that they have a good internship in this office. Oh, I am actually hiring internships right now if you're in this major. But really connecting with them and showing this is not just a job for me. This is something I'm passionate about. This is something that I want to not only help my clients, per se, the students, but I also want them to succeed.
I love that so much. And it really is, we've talked about it the whole day about relationships. They're weaved into everything we do. And I think people can tell, especially like at a college, it doesn't matter where you go, anytime. I mean, years and years ago, there was a young kid that worked at McDonald's, and I was going through the drive-thru like every morning, which says a lot for my diet at the time, but every single morning, the dude was like happy. He was like, yes, ma'am, what do you need today? I hope your day's great. And I was like, I want to hire you. Like, I don't even have a spot. I just, so you can tell when people are passionate for life, passionate for their business, their jobs, or whatever. So here's another, again, really good question about heart and authenticity as well. So marketing in specialized fields can be niche or even sometimes misunderstood. So how do you infuse heart and authenticity into spaces that feel rigid, technical, and or corporate?
I can start with this one. For me, I am very open with my superiors, about this is what I want to do. This is how to connect. And I'm gathering the data that they need so they can see, okay, she's not just, saying she wants to do this with no evidence behind it. I'm saying, well, Ohio State, they did this, and I know you're trying to, prove that we're better than them, because we are. Or I'm saying, we're a part of the Big 12. Shout out to any of the football people out here. If we want to prove that we deserve to be in the Big 12, we should try this or do this trend. I saw that they were doing this. So it's really, for me, about finding the information you need to prove, hey, this is something that I believe will speak to our audience. This is something that research shows is going to do well, and proving, why you're passionate and good at what your job is. Everybody in this room is good at what they do, or else you wouldn't have the job that you have now. So it's really about showing everybody else that you know what you're talking about. You're that person, you're that girl, you're that boy, you're that they,
Okay, Chad, we're gonna wrap here in just a second. You're probably gonna help us catch up with about 5 minutes.
I would love to see you rap.
No, I'm not dancing or rapping, trust me. Ask my 11-year-old son, I'm not cool. Apparently I don't do those things well. But I just want to add a few things. We've talked a lot about authenticity and passion, and I used to struggle a lot with okay, there's corporate America. Like, I would go to a lot of these big events, and everything is very rigid and corporate. And years ago, people would tell me, Jamie, you have too much heart, you care too much, and you're not going to be able to grow your business that way. I had mentors tell me that for the last 25 years on and off, and it never sat right with me. And I grew up in corporate America, if you will, and they were like, you can't grow a business off of emotion. Now, again, you could go into a whole dissertation about that, because you can't build a business on emotion, but you build businesses on relationships, and we're all people, and we're all human. And I think when we just continually remember that what we're passionate about, we absolutely can build a business with other humans, with our passions. And most importantly, I think the thing that I just love about marketing, and marketing with authenticity and being more human, is we're always going to win. And many of you in this audience probably know Mark Schaefer, and he's got a book, and he talks about the most human company wins, and it was out probably well before many people actually agreed with that statement. But that's one thing. It's if we can just be more human and love people more through our work, And again, that's something people are like, you can't love people through, and I was like, yes, you can. You can show them love and kindness in different ways. So that's all we have, unless you ladies have anything else to add. Okay, well, we just added 5 minutes and 37 seconds to the clock for the day. All right.